Hey, it's Nile here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Viofo A229 Plus 3-channel dash cam system. This is something that I've been looking forward to find a solution for when it comes to my S-Class. You want to make sure you're fully covered when you're driving on the road, including a front, a rear, and an interior camera. So there's two 2K cameras plus a 1080p, along with dual Sony Starvis 2 sensors. We also have HDR support on all three of the cameras, as well as smart voice control and notifications. Now the first step in order to get this on my 2013 Mercedes S-Class is to remove the old dash cam that I was using. It was a Garmin model, only a single camera that's going to be going back in my C-Class. So one of the things that comes in the box is a trim removal tool. I used it to remove the magnet that was on the windshield to keep the old dash camera on. Putting the new one on was simple. 3M tape on the front side there allows you to stick it on, and then the unit itself with the built-in screen has a swivel for the camera, so you can adjust the position of it depending on how heavy of a rake your windshield might be. And basically just plugging it in, I had a 12-volt outlet in my glove box. I was able to wrap the wiring down the A-pillar, so you can see pretty easy just using the pry tool that comes in the box. I'm able to hide the cabling a little bit behind the windshield and the A-pillar. You know, if you wanted to remove that and do it professionally, that's certainly your choice as well, but I wanted to make it look good because obviously it's an S-Class, you don't want it to be too intrusive. Now the front camera, pretty easy. Stick that on again with 3M tape. The cable was a little bit longer, so depending on how you set up your dash cam, you should have enough cabling. I wrapped it around the mirror so that it's kind of out of the way. Looks pretty decent, and then you can angle the front camera as well. So because I stuck it up high, it's out of the way, no problem. Now my issue is the rear sunshade. Not everybody's going to have this problem, but I needed to make sure that the rear camera would fit without getting that setup screwed up, because it will stop. So you can see here the rear camera looks much like the interior facing one. You have tons of cable. Again, depending on how big of a car you have, you should have more than enough. So I was able to stick it on, and I just wanted to test it, and I should have had somebody holding it while I was putting it up, because you can see here it didn't like it just hits it just a little bit, and then my sunshade goes back down. So round two, I put it a little bit closer to the center, and boom, much better. You can see it closes no problem, and once again I was able to tuck the wiring very neatly into the trim so it's out of the way, and you can see again as it comes up, no intrusion whatsoever. Just nice smooth fit finish, and it actually makes it look pretty good when you're looking from the outside. You can't see it. Now I also hid the wiring through the A pillar, the B pillar, the headliner there. You can see it's pretty much tucked into the door, so it's out of the way. And then the excess stuff, I just had to throw it in the glove box. There's nowhere else to put it, but because I don't use the glove box for much, no problem. The only wiring that sticks out is along the passenger side door there. Again, there's probably ways to make it look a little bit better, but for a quick, maybe 20-25 minutes of installation, it looks pretty good. And you can see there the front is tucked up nicely. From the outside, it's clearly there. You're not going to be fooling anybody, and it's actually better to have it visible so that people will probably leave your car alone. But it tucks away nicely. It hides in very well with everything else that I've got going on my windshield of the S-Class. And then again, look at the back with the light tinting and the sunshade. It's almost impossible to see that camera there, so it's a good setup. All right, so there we go. Installation complete. Didn't take too long. I'd say it was about half an hour at the most, and a little bit longer for me because the rear sunshade there, if I positioned it as you saw in the first clip, it hit it, would retract back down. This position's pretty good overall, so I think it's in a nice spot. It's out of the way. You can barely see it from my seating position, and then same thing with all the equipment here. Obviously, you can see the interior facing camera, right? But it's right at the top, and then there are sort of like night vision lights on there. So I think this could be a really good solution if you are a rideshare driver, even a taxi driver. You've got other people in your car. You don't necessarily want to be left without some sort of backup, some sort of proof of whatever's going on as you're driving along. And it's also good too if you're a driver such as as myself, right? I'm not putting people in this car, at least not people commercially, but it'd be nice to have that so that, let's say I'm driving along, somebody rear ends me, I can show not only the front and rear camera but also the interior to show the police or insurance companies that I wasn't distracted, I wasn't on my phone, things like that. So I think it's good to have, but everything's out of the way. Worked out pretty well. I was able to hide all the wiring, and then it's just a along the side, you can see some of the B-roll there be going into my glove box just because there's a little bit too much wire length. I had to tuck it into the glove box, but that's fine. The only thing that's in there is a nice pen that I keep in a little pen holder on top of the owner's manual with my insurance and all that. So I don't really go into the glove box too often. There's not much use for it, so I might as well just tuck everything in there. And then I'm sure there is a way to kind of hide those wires a little bit better. You know, this was a quick installation just to kind of show you how easy it can be, but yeah, about 30 minutes of work, not too bad. And then now you'll see the footage from the actual camera, because obviously that's going to be important, right? You know, the Viofo A229 Plus says it does 2K video footage, so you want to have crisp 1080p as you're driving along. You know, yeah, higher resolutions are great, but you'd rather have better quality of a lower resolution to be able to see things like license plates, be able to see people, things like that, whatever it may be, so you can see the quality as we're driving along. And it'll be the first time I'm seeing it too, so we'll see together if the quality is good or not. Get in the comments below, let us know what you think of it overall. But this is another good solution for people who are looking to keep themselves a little bit safer on the road, have a little bit of protection from, you know, all the terrible drivers out there, and have a little bit of peace of mind as you're driving along. So there's more information about the Viofo A229 Plus system. You can look in the description below. We've got some information there, as well as ways to buy it. But so far I think it's good. It replaces my old setup. My single camera was pretty good overall. It's going to go back into the C-Class, but I think it's nice to have some options, and this is a good choice. So for more information, you can check that out. And as always, we're always in the comments, so if you have any questions about this setup or anything that we're doing here at Test Drive, let me know. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Until next time, thanks for watching, and take care.